Hi, everybody. Erin Johnson with Outstanding Ohio, and we're here today with another Lunch and Learn featuring Mary Belle from the Busy Belle, and she's going to be sharing with us some copywriting tips to help your business. Mary's the owner of the Busy Belle, where she helps her clients sell more courses, memberships, products, and programs with copy that crushes and strategy that sells. Her clients are 6, 7, and 8-figure business owners who want to find hidden revenue through full-service email marketing and automated funnel strategy. As a seasonal launch copywriter and sales strategist, Mary also writes copy for product launches and helps business coaches turn beta launches into evergreen products. So thank you, Mary, for giving us your time today and your insights.
Thank you so much for having me. Gosh, when you describe it, it sounds very complex. But basically, if you see words on the internet, on somebody's website or a sales page or in their emails, that's what I write. So it's a little more simple than it sounds. And I have to apologize. I am getting close to the end of my pregnancy. And the same thing happened with my daughter. I get completely stuffed up and it doesn't stop until I have the baby. So
when's the due date?
We are hoping to have the baby the week of September 6th. Because my husband's going to be in town for about 7 days in September.
Oh,
so
wow.
Wish us luck.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So thank you so much for having me and inviting me to come and share some copywriting tips. I totally nerd out on this stuff. And so we might do a little bit of a deep dive, but my goal is to give you, because not all business owners are marketers. They're not all sales experts. You're good at your craft. You are the expert in your field. And I want to give you some very easy tips that you can start improving the copy that you're writing for your own business. And if you do choose to outsource it, I'm totally available, but these are things that you can start implementing right away. Whether you are sending emails, you have a website, you're making social media posts. If you have a business that writes proposals, copywriting tips are great for writing better proposals too. So all of that, I'm hoping that you get some tips that you can put into place right away to start improving your messaging and speaking to your audience. So the first thing we're going to talk about is really diving deep into what your ideal clients need to hear from you. I think so often as business owners, we try and talk about the things that we do. Like, I offer email marketing. I offer sales copy. Our ideal clients don't know our industry language, right? They don't understand it in the same way we do. So my first tip is always to dig deep and understand the pain points that your ideal clients are having. Oh, I have a presentation I should be sharing. I have sharing abilities, yeah? Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Can you guys see that now? Perfect. Okay. So the first tip that I always share is to really dig deep to understand your ideal client's problem. And then to write copy that communicates that you understand it, first of all, and that you can help them solve it, second of all. Being able to communicate that you understand not just the problems and challenges that they're having, but the pain points that underlie it. This involves being able to do market research, ask campaigns, and actually asking people who are your ideal clients, what's keeping them up at night, right? You could even ask past clients, like, what was bothering you so much? What was keeping you up at night that you decided to outsource your problem to me? Those are the emotions and underlying pain points that we want to be able to figure out and then communicate in our writing that we understand and can help solve those problems. Okay. Here's an example from, now I said that we're talking about copy that you write anywhere, right? So here is a sample from something that I used on my Facebook page a while back when I was promoting. I was offering sort of like a lead-in for people to get into my world. For $100, I was going to audit their sales funnel on the internet and tell them what was wrong with their copy so that they could get more conversions. So this was at the time my cover photo on my Facebook profile, which I think is a great place to kind of advertise what you do, especially if you're doing a lot of marketing on the internet, which I do. Some people have brick and mortar businesses. Some of us are, digital. I have clients all over the world. But no matter what, if you are talking about your business, if you are networking with people in your own community and friendship space, social media just happens to be a really great place to do that. So this was my cover photo, and you'll be able to tell from the presentation slides, I am not a designer. I do not do that piece. I'm the writer. Okay. So I used a very simple design here, a frustrated guy on his laptop. I kind of overlaid it with one of my brand colors and then just kind of called people out, right? Did you invest a lot of money in your sales funnel and it's still not making you money? That was the pain point that my ideal clients were experiencing, right? And then I give them some calls to action. The bulk of the copy happens over here in the description of the cover photo. And we don't have to read through this whole thing, but if you did read through this whole thing, you would see that I really call out my people. One Funnel Away challenge is, it's an online challenge run by Russell Brunson and his company, ClickFunnels. And the people who are in my space, who are marketing things online, they're selling digital products, they're coaching services, consulting services, they're in Russell Brunson's world. They know what the One Funnel Away challenge is. So I was calling them out very specifically. And then I talked directly to some of the pain points that they're having, right? So maybe you've done the funnel thing on your own and it didn't go well. Maybe you hired a team and it's still not making you money. You know that there's value in your offer, right? I'm empathizing with them a little bit and saying, hey, look, before you go down the rabbit hole, let me start by saying it's not you, it's your funnel, right? So again, empathizing with them, telling them, I understand your pain points. It's not your fault. Here's how I can help. You're great. Your product or service is freaking amazing, but your funnel is holding you back from making more money. And then I go into the solution. Right? So it could be that your sales page isn't speaking to your audience, or maybe it's doing fine, but the email sequence that follows sucks, right? And again, I'm using the language that my people use. Anyway, point being, I give them this call to action of how to book a call with me to get one of these strategy sessions. And that's it. Being able to do that and put that on my social media. And anytime somebody comes and looks at my profile, that's the graphic they see. Those are the words that they see. And then they read this and they're like, that is me. I am struggling. I did spend a lot of money on that funnel. It isn't making me money. You're telling me she's going to take $100 and tell me what's wrong with it so I can fix it. And then they book a call, right? So really being able to understand not just the problem they're facing, but the pain points that it causes. And then, like I said, being able to empathize with them and show them, I know the answer. I know the way out. I know how to get you pain relief, right? All of those things were important in making that piece of copy convert for me. So here are some questions that I like to ask when I'm coming up with a new offer, or if I'm going to write a piece of copy that's going to go out on social media or my website or anything like that. What is the problem my ideal client is facing? What pain is this problem causing them? What have they tried in the past that didn't work? You saw me call some of those things out, right? Maybe you hired a team. Maybe you tried to do it on your own. Maybe you've already thrown money at it and it's still not working, right? So whatever your business is, you've got to know what they've tried before they've come to you. You are not their first solution. right? They have tried to solve this problem either on their own or with somebody else's help, and it still isn't working. So we have to be able to understand that. Number 4, how can I communicate that I understand the pain and can help them resolve it? So those are the questions that I like to ask. The second tip that I have is communicating benefits over features. This is another thing that we do just by habit, or it's just such a simple change for us to do in our copy. But a lot of us are focusing on features that we offer, right? And I'm asking you to switch it to benefits. And again, this can happen on your website, your Facebook profile, LinkedIn, Instagram, testimonials, proposals. Everywhere you are writing for your business, you need to show benefits over features. Let's take a look at an example. I think I have this set up right. Yep, there it is. Okay. So this is actually on my website. This is a hidden link. I share it with people I've had a phone call with who I know want to move forward with services. And it kind of just outlines all of my services for them with some pricing details. So here's one of those services, right? Full service email copywriting, email funnel strategy, and list management. Now, if I were focusing on the features of this service, I would say, you know, I'm going to write 3 to 5 emails per week for you. I'm going to set up the technology in your email service provider and actually send these out for you. I'm going to check the statistics on your open rates and your click rates, right? Those are all features. Those are boring. It goes in one ear and out the other for my ideal clients. They want to hear what's in it for them. When we're talking about benefits, we're talking about what's in it for me as the client, right? So you'll notice the way that I talk about this, I don't give them any details on like the actual deliverables. This first little section here, okay, this is my premier offer. It's designed to increase revenue from your existing email list while taking the pressure and overwhelm of writing, strategizing, and automating emails completely off your plate, right? This is why my clients come to me. They're overwhelmed. They don't want to sit down and write. Some of them can write and they just don't have time. Some of them can't write and they're pressuring themselves to try to write because they know that there's money sitting out there on their email list and they just aren't going after it. But it's this pressure and overwhelm, right? And the stressed out feeling, that's what's keeping them up at night. They know there's money out there and they're not going after it. And even some of the skills, right? Like strategizing and setting up these automations. I'm telling them, I'm taking all of that overwhelm and pressure off your plate, okay? Then again, still not telling them the features of this service. I'm telling them the benefits. So this service has 3 goals: protecting your domain and increasing deliverability so that more people see your emails. And a lot of times when we talk about turning features into benefits, you'll see this is the kind of language I usually recommend that people use. Protecting your domain and increasing deliverability is the feature. The benefit is so that more people see your emails, right? So sometimes just that, if you're having trouble turning a feature into a benefit, just think to yourself, I'm giving them this so that they can what? The what is the benefit, and that's what they need to hear, right? Another goal is building relationships, trust, and authority so that you can sell more services, programs, or memberships, right? And then increasing the lifetime value of your customers by strategically using list segmentation and email funnels. This one is switched, right? Strategically using list segmentation and email funnels is the feature. That's what I'm going to do for you. The benefit is we're going to increase the lifetime value of your customers, okay? And that's all that I tell them about this. And I give them a little bit of pricing information. I say, schedule your consultation. That is what they see. People will know whether this service is for them or not based on those benefits. If I'm speaking to the right pain points that they're experiencing, and I'm telling them the benefits that they want to hear, they're going to say, yes, I'm in. That's what I want. So that's sort of, if you're having trouble turning a feature into a benefit, that's how I recommend doing it, is that just those couple little words, so that you can, what's the benefit? So this is a practice that I like to give people when we have more time. Sometimes we workshop this live. Because y'all are participating on this call and we've got a little bit shorter of a time, I will just say, if you want to practice any of this, you can send it to me to email, and it's just Mary@thebusybelle, which has an E at the end, .com. And you can say, hey, I was at your presentation, or hey, I watched the replay. What do you think about this as far as turning a deliverable into a benefit on my website? And I'll be like, yeah, that's great. Or, hey, let's dig a little bit deeper. So I always challenge people to see if you can turn 3 of the features that your business offers or deliverables and turn them into benefits for your client, things that they are going to hear. Okay, number 3, third tip. This one tends to be hard because it's just hard for us to talk about what we are good at. And well, first, I guess I should say for some of us, it's hard to talk about what we're good at. It's hard to, some of us don't want to be competitive in a way that's like putting down other service providers or other, our competition. But I really say you've got to be able to understand what makes you unique, because there are other people who offer the deliverables and the features that you have, right? How is working with you different that's going to make somebody go, yep, I'm going to choose you and not competitor X, right? So this is, the little hint here is this is your unique selling proposition. So what makes you unique? And there's a couple different ways that you can define this. And here's where I said, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive, and I get super nerdy, and I'm going to use some of my friends. I say friends, I don't know them. They are some of my teachers, right? But some people I follow whose opinions I really trust. We're going to use some of the examples and teachings that they share. So Frank Bria talks about coming up with your unique selling proposition by taking a benefit and a control and communicating that to your ideal client. He says, it's got to be unique, it's got to be meaningful, and it has to address what he calls the dirty little secret. So let's talk through some of this. Number 1, it's got to be unique, right? Can the competition say the same thing? And the best way to get into being unique is to talk about very specific things that you have achieved in your business. Things that are meaningful, things that are backed by customer experience, right? If your competition can say the same thing as you, it's not unique. So client testimonials are a great way to pull out some of that uniqueness that your business offers that your competitors don't. So that's the challenge right there. Can the competition say the same thing? If not, we need to think of something else that makes us unique. The second piece is it meaningful to the prospect? And here again is where our ideal clients want to hear what's in it for me, right? What is the benefit? And sometimes, we think it's enough to say that we are the fastest at what we do, or we are the most trusted brand, right? What's another one? That our quality, we have the highest quality out of all of the competitors out there doing the same thing. Frank Bria would argue that those are not meaningful benefits to our prospects. He says that people are motivated by one of 4 things: making money, saving money, staying out of jail, or getting other, sanctions. I know that we had some financial advisors signed up for the call, so hopefully they are listening, because that's probably what your people are. They want to hear a little bit of all of that. Or the 4th one is improving the quality of life, right? So being trustworthy, being fast, being high quality, people don't hear it. It might be great, but people don't hear it when they read our copy. So we need to aim for one of those 4 things when we're talking about the benefit that's going to be meaningful to our prospect. So here's where the dirty little secret comes in. Frank Bria says, people can achieve whatever it is that you're offering to help them with, as long as they put in enough time, effort, money, blood, sweat, and tears, right? So the dirty little secret is we got to show them that we can give them this meaningful, unique benefit with some kind of controlling how much money they spend or have to invest in it, right? By controlling the amount of time that it's going to take, right? Those same things that motivate them, making money, saving money, staying out of jail or avoiding sanctions or improving the quality of life. Those are the things that we need to be able to communicate that we control also. So I'm going to convince you to pay me to do this thing that you probably could figure out on your own, but I'm going to save you time, or I'm going to save you money, or I'm going to save you, 20 years of education that it took to get here, or whatever the case may be. So that's the dirty little secret, is the thing that you can control that's going to make them go, yep, I'm willing to pay for it. Or yes, I'm willing to spend the time if that's what's going to do it. If they're going to get me there faster or for cheaper or make me more money than I could make on my own. So the formula becomes choose one benefit and choose one control. And then he says, we can up-level it. We can up-level that unique selling proposition by getting really specific. How can we get more specific? We can use numbers, right? I'm working with a new client right now, and I'm writing some emails for her, cold business to business emails. And I told her, I said, we need metrics. She's a proposal manager consultant. I knew nothing about her industry a week ago, so I'm learning a lot. So basically, if let's say the city of Akron needs to redesign one of the streets in the city because the population is getting too big, right? The city of Akron says, hey, contractors, we are, we want to take your bids for this job. She helps the contractors write the proposals to get those bids, to get those jobs. Anyway, a little bit of a deep dive there. Point being, I said, I want to know the metrics. I want to know how big of contracts you have helped your clients get. So she sent me some statistics. And when I tell you being specific and specificity matters, and again, relating this back to being able to make claims and set yourself as unique from your competitors by being able to say something that they can't say, here's where we do that, is with these specific numbers. So we were able to say she helped her client land a $24 million bid for X job. She helped another client win a proposal for X amount of dollars. And we had one, I could probably pull it up, but I won't take time to do that. She had one proposal that was such a specific number. It was like $13,750,580. Like, it was so specific down to the last dollar. And rather than rounding it up and saying almost 14 million, I used that exact number because two reasons. Number one, none of her competitors can say that, right? That is the exact dollar amount of that job that she landed them. Number two, people trust numbers that are super specific. So whatever the metrics are in your business, I will also say, when you're getting specific and calling these numbers out and sharing these numbers, don't round them up. Don't make them even. Tell them exactly what they are. If you increased ROI for a client, by 17% or 254%, say that exact number. So that's a little expert tip for you. So here are some examples using Frank Bria's approach, right? The benefit, the control, and then being able to, the benefit and the control. And he says, again, use one benefit, use one control. Here's some of my actual clients, okay? Busy Mom Weight Loss. Juliana, great. I just love her. She's so sweet. But she helps, and look, we're even calling out her people, busy toddler moms, lose 10 to 20 pounds in 30 days. Okay. The losing 10 to 20 pounds is the benefit to the client. 30 days is the specificity. And then without gaining it right back, there's the control. And this is based on the research that I did for her ideal client. The thing that they were most worried about, they could lose the 10 to 20 pounds. They could even lose the 10 to 20 pounds in 30 days, but they would gain it right back because they didn't have the right tools. So we said, listen, Juliana has the right tools to be able to achieve that goal in that specific amount of time without gaining it right back, in that controlled environment. I like to compare it to this one because they are two of my clients with similar programs, similar business structures, but they target very different clients. So again, and it's funny, when I wrote Juliana's sales page for her, I kind of called out my other client, not her business or anything, but just the price tag of her offer, because these two offers, this one was, I think she was selling her program for less than $100. And this other client was selling hers for $1,500, right? So they're, again, very different audiences. They have to each have their own unique selling proposition. So for the Release and Rejuvenate program, it was helping professional women with kids. Here again, how we're calling out the audience, lose 25 to 35 pounds in 10 weeks. There's the benefit and the specificity. And again, we've even made the benefit specific, right? 25 to 35 pounds, whereas up here, we've got 10 to 20. You could get even more specific, and we could take the average that her clients, the weight that they lose, and maybe it's 27 to 38 pounds, right? And then here's the control without exercise or eating fake foods, because we heard from her ideal client's perspective that was the thing that drove them the most crazy. They could lose the weight, but they couldn't do it without, excessive exercising, spending hours a day at the gym. They had already tried the protein shakes and the fake foods and all that garbage. And she said, look, I can help you achieve this goal without doing all that stuff that doesn't work. And then I just include mine here too. So helping coaches and consultants find hidden revenue on their email list in 30 days, right? There's the benefit and the specificity of time without working more hours, right? Because my clients could do what I do for them. It would take them a lot of time, right? So that's just a couple examples of how to use that benefit control to create your unique mechanism. One other example I'll give you comes from Alex Gutani, and she is a 7-figure copywriter and just expert marketer. She's amazing. She's a copy coach as well, so I've learned a lot from her. But she talks about the unique mechanism, unique selling proposition. Okay, so sometimes a company has, maybe you have a certain framework that is unique to your company, right? Maybe you have, if it's like an actual physical product, maybe you have a formula that nobody else uses. So here's an example of a client that I helped, Alias Nutrition Flavor Sticks. Alias Nutrition is the name of the company. They create these little flavor sticks. It's just a powder that comes in a little package. You rip it open, you dump it in your protein shake, and it changes the flavor of the shake without changing the texture or adding sugar. Okay. And the unique mechanism that their formula has that no other brand out there has is this bolded piece right here. So the ingredients in their product bind to the existing sugar molecules in the protein shake so that it doesn't change anything else about the protein shake. And that was very specific. We came up with, that is what their formula does, but we came up with this as a huge, unique selling proposition and marketing approach for selling their product because we were targeting people who were preparing for gastric sleeve surgery. And I don't know if you know anything about that. Again, another industry I did not know much about, or not industry, but audience I did not know much about until I got into the research for this client. When people are preparing for gastric sleeve surgery, they oftentimes have to do a very strict 2-week, basically liquid diet of protein shakes. And one of our research, one of the women who helped us with our research, who had gone through this experience, she had to drink 5 protein shakes a day. Like, you either got to buy a bunch of different protein flavors, which is expensive. Protein is not cheap. It's $50 to $100 a bag or a box. So you either have to buy a bunch of those, spend hundreds of dollars just to get some flavor or, variety, or you have to use other flavor sticks that are available out there that might change the texture or the aftertaste, or they might make it too high in sugar, which this audience, this population in particular, had to avoid. They weren't supposed to be adding extra carbs, and some of the other flavor sticks out there add carbs. So it really came down to researching our market, understanding who this was geared towards, and being able to say, this is why this nutrition flavor stick out of all of the other ones out there is for you, because of the unique mechanism, the formula, the ingredients that we use bind with the existing sugar molecules so that you don't have to change protein brands. You don't have to buy a bunch of different bags of protein. You're not going to add sugar. You're not going to ruin your diet, and you're going to be able to prep for surgery flawlessly, right? And have fewer risks when you get there. So sometimes that's a very just a very detailed example for a physical product that has a list of ingredients, but service providers can have unique mechanisms too. I use certain copywriting frameworks in my services that I developed that no other copywriter out there uses unless I teach it to them, right? So like, sometimes I'm selling my clients on that when you work with me, I'm not the cheapest copywriter out there, point blank, I'm not, but I've come up with my own frameworks that work and that convert and that sell, right? So sometimes even for service providers, this can be a huge, huge leg up. So again, if we had more time, we could actually workshop this a little bit, but you can take this away and you can send it to me through email if you want me to provide some feedback. But think about the benefit that you provide that your competition can't claim. And again, I think I touched on it. I don't think I went too deep into it, but client testimonials are great for this because your clients can actually speak to not just the metrics that we talked about, that you can kind of show off and make those claims that your competitors cannot claim with very specific numbers and ROI and what have you. But even just the client's transformation, who they were as a person or business owner or we're not all B2B, right? So like whoever your client is, who they were as a person or a business before they interacted with you to what happened afterwards. What was the transformation? So being able to go back to your previous clients and ask them, what was life like before? What was business like before we worked together? And how has it changed? How are you different? How is business different? Those testimonials make the most powerful pieces of marketing that your competitors cannot claim because they did not provide that transformation. You did. So that's what I like to share when I give these tips and tricks. We can open it up for questions if you have questions. I put my website on here. I do have an email list that I share tips, tricks, and honestly, just like some stories and life lessons as a business owner and as a copywriter and email marketer specifically. So if you're interested in joining that email list, you can go to my website, and it's probably on every page of my website of how to join. But I'd like to stop the share and come back to y'all and just open it up for questions and see if it was clear or you need more.
That was amazing, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's given me a lot to think about, but I feel like it's hard to wrap your head around something that totally makes you unique. I get that, like, your customer, you have a different interaction with your customers and maybe your sales figures are different, but at some point, like, all the realtors are out there doing the same thing, like,
right,
from here to there. And like, is there anything that makes me truly unique? Like, I'm in my head maybe trying to, but I don't know.
Well, and there's another one that I didn't touch on. And I don't know who to give credit to for like the original way that, who came up with the wine statement as a phrase. But Alex Gutani, the copywriter who I mentioned, I know I learned it from her, but I know that she credits somebody else and I don't know who it is. But the wine statement is like, Erin, if your client were having a glass of wine in the backyard with her best friend, what would she say about you? And sometimes, and this might not be a piece of copy that gets added to your website, right? It might not be a piece of copy that that you put on your social media or something, but it might be what guides how you speak to your ideal clients. Being able to have that like backyard conversational friend to friend opinion of you or perspective on you helps you understand what it is that your clients love about you and why you're different, because you are. And, even though there's lots of competition out there for real estate agents, trust me, there's tons of competition for copywriting too. And like I said, I mean, I don't think realtors get to decide their rates, right? But like I said, I am not the cheapest one out there, and I don't have to be, because I've learned what it is that they need and how I am different and unique and special. And there's a price tag that comes with that. So being able to know what that is, understand it, and communicate to your ideal people what that is that makes you stand out also helps you, for those of us who are in businesses where we get to decide our own pricing, helps you increase your rates also.
Right. Awesome. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you, Mary. It was very helpful. I'm actually going to implement that Facebook suggestion for my banner and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you can, I can't remember if we are friends on Facebook or not, Derek, but I know that we messaged through there.
Yeah.
So you could go back and find me. If we're not friends, send me a friend request, but you can look through some of my previous cover photos too, and see every time I've posted one that's business related, I always write the copy that goes in the description of that photo too. So you can kind of see, you could like hack it, right? And kind of pull it apart. Like why did she include this sentence? And what was she trying to get at here? And who was she trying to talk to? If you're a nerd like me and you like to pull that stuff apart.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Also, the one client that you said who does the proposals for the city, I don't know how far along you are, but if you need any background, I'm on the other side of it. I'm a project manager for a city and I see a lot of those proposals. So,
cool. Yeah, I could definitely connect you guys. I'm like still just learning about this industry. So I think the first time she and I had a conversation really to dive into the meat of what she does, I had to ask her like 5 different ways what she did, because I'm like, I still don't get it.
Yeah, it's interesting. The city makes things very complicated for no reason, but yeah.
I think at one point I said, if you were trying to explain to your kids' classmates, her kids are, younger. I said, if you were trying to explain to your kids' classmates what you do, what would you say?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
There's a funny story about that. There was a big company that was putting out an annual report, and they were going to feature pictures that the employees' kids drew of their moms and dads doing their jobs. And one of the pictures that made it into the annual report was the picture of this guy sitting on a phone. Now, this was back before cell phones, so it was like an old phone, a real phone, and the dad was sitting on it because she would hear her dad coming home from work saying, all I did all day was sit on the phone. Okay. And so the daughter, the little girl, drew a picture of her dad sitting on the phone. So when you explain it to little kids, they take everything very literally.
I love that.
So Mary, do you work on content, not just for email lists, but again, on somebody's website, like to do an audit of the content and make suggestions as to how they can improve what's on their website?
Absolutely. I have one of the, like, I call it a mini offer, or just like a mini little audit that I do is for $97. I come to your site, I take a look at what you got, I give you some suggestions and advice on how to improve it. And you get it's a recording. So like I will screen record going through your website and telling you how I would fix it and change it, and how you could make it stand out a little bit more. And then if you want to, if you were like, that's great, but that's overwhelming, you do it, then we could do that. If not, that recording is yours and you can fix it and adjust it and play with it how you want.
And then if you actually, so you don't create the copy, but you might say, here you need to focus more on benefits rather than features, but you don't actually give them the words to say.
Sometimes, because I just can't help myself, I might give examples, but I won't go and do research for that mini offer.
Right.
So like, if I were going to actually write it myself, I would go and do research and want to hear how your ideal clients talk about it, the words that they're using. And then I would say, okay, here's how we're going to write this sentence, right? But I don't do the research for everybody when I'm just doing their little audit. So I'll just, sometimes I give examples of like, well, like I generally know something about your industry. Here's the things that you might want to think about or go research, and just kind of give you an idea of like, I'll pick it apart and say, here's why it's a feature and not a benefit. Here's what you need to think about to turn it into a benefit, and go do your research.
Okay. Thank you. And then do you help people just come up with their unique selling proposition?
So I do offer a strategy call, which I think that would fall under that, that does include some research. And basically I have a form that you fill out ahead of time that kind of gives me a lot of detail about what you offer, how it's different, who your competitors are, who your ideal clients are. And then I go and research all that. And I see what your competitors are doing that's working for them. I get on discussion boards and figure out how your ideal clients are talking about these problems. And then I come back to you with some messaging and strategy of like how you stand out from what's out there, and how you can kind of connect that uniqueness to what your clients want to hear from you.
And what do you charge for the strategy call?
That right now is $950. So you fill out the form first. I go do my research, and then we hop on a 90-minute call and we go over all of that, everything I found and some of the messaging ideas. And you get a recording of that call of us together.
Okay. And that's $950.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? All right, well, this was amazing. I'm sorry there weren't more people in attendance, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch this recording. And
yeah, it was excellent.
Yeah, this is, yes.
I tend to get long-winded, so I was worried about the time frame, but I thought,
yeah. And
then when I shared my screen, I had to put you guys, I had to like minimize the windows so that I couldn't, so I could see my full screen. And so then I think that helped me go faster.
I was distracted. Yes. Well, thank you so much. And I will put links to your website. I don't think I'm on your email list. I got to get on that too. Yeah, I appreciate it. And good luck with the baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.